the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.
Hello, Miami. Thank you so much for watching 305 Sports Now. I am your host, Will, and welcome to day one of 305 Live, heading into the spring game this Saturday at Cobb Stadium, as your Miami Hurricanes will show the fans, right, a little bit of something of what we can expect for the 2025 season. So tonight I have two very special guests. Okay, you know this very special guest as pretty much one of the Avengers of famed Locked On Canes, hosted by Alex Dano, and she's one of the hosts of the 5 Reasons Sports Network and, of course, the Buckets Pod. And she is known as, I call her Melissa, but she is known as Hoodie Girl. What's up, Hoodie? How you doing?
Good. What's up, Will? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, by the way, I love your logo. It made my thumbnail look really beast, so I'm very happy that that you were able to share it with me.
You can get it in hoodie form.
Yeah, you're right, I can. You're definitely right, I can. And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm keeping it in the family, right? Making his first debut in the podcasting world, but you guys are going to love this guy. He is a walking, talking football, trivia, statistics, analytical machine. He is my cousin, all right? My cousin, Jonathan. What's up, John? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for having me on, Will.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having your first debut in the podcasting world with us here at 305 Sports Now. All right. Me and Melissa are very happy to have you on. Okay. So first things first, before I come on, how's the family doing, Jay?
Everyone's doing really good. The son's down in bed for the night, and the wife's outside just trying to keep quiet.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, like Jennifer's so loud.
She can when she wants to, but no, she's good. She's great. That's good.
The advantages of living by yourself.
I envy you.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You gotta love that. I can never have that background that you have there, Mel. It's my dream wall, per se. It's that behind, man. All the Canes stuff and so on.
We got a bunch of Canes YouTubers on this.
So
wall.
first things foremost, am I on there? Am I gonna be on there anytime soon? Or I know I know a little bit of everything, but am I gonna end up in the Hall of Fame one day? What was that?
We gotta get a picture together, Will. I don't got a picture with you.
Oh, definitely. Are you doing the Into the Verse with the You Heard guys? This coming Saturday?
I'll be at the spring game.
Oh, okay. Oh, they'll definitely get a picture. I'm gonna try to make it. All right. So, anyways, So going on with the show today. Speaking of spring game, okay, we gotta talk about a few things. So the reason why we're here is because we're speaking today about the defensive line. The way that the structure is going to work for this week is we're going to be going over different position groups, daily. So today we're doing defensive line, and then tomorrow we'll be doing linebackers. And then on Wednesday with Flo, we'll do DBs. We'll do DBs and QBs, and then with the Cane Sport guys, we'll finish it off with different position groups. But let's start first with the defensive line, since we're doing both the interior and then of course the exterior as well. A lot of excitement regarding the line. Last year, let's be very honest with you, our defense was very underwhelming. It underachieved, in my opinion. The front four was expected to be the strong suit of this football team. Was supposed to back up the linebackers, and the secondary as well. They averaged over 30 plus points a game against Power 4 teams. All right, that includes the ACC and the bowl game as well. But there is hope, right? As we have a new defensive coordinator and a new interior line coach in Damian Lewis, and of course, Jason Taylor heading into second year as defensive ends coach. Starting first with Mel, all right, how do you see the defensive line this season, and are you expecting a progression from last year? I mean, you can only go up from here.
I mean, the line wasn't our worst problem last year, but the line's going to be a lot younger this year. We had a few like 1-year mercenaries on the team last year. But yeah, I especially the freshman class that came in last season and the progression to this season on the line is what I'm looking forward to the most. Because you kind of have your two anchors on the edge with Mesidor and Bain. But the tackle position is going to be interesting. I'll be interested to see if we pick anybody up in the spring portal.
Okay. Jay, what's your perspective?
I agree with Mel in a lot of aspects, man. I think the outside of the line is going to be great with Bane and Mesidor out there. I really want to see how Justin Scott is going to come into this year. How he's going to play coming off that freshman year. I'm really excited to see how Hayden Lowe, the true freshman, is going to play into the mix. Some of the reports I'm seeing is that he's going to come in as a second string behind Mesidor on the left side. I really want to see how that goes, and also transfer David Blake come out of Louisiana Tech. I want to see if he can have some of that production coming to the ACC this year, if he can maintain some and if he can grow on it for his senior year.
Yeah, first of all, guys, a very good perspective. I wanted to go over the interior line first. You guys brought up some names here. Guys like Artavius Jones, Armando Blunt, David Blay. Ahmad Moan is a guy I am expecting for him to take that next step. He's a big guy, and he's that lane clogger that we've been looking for as well. And he showed some signs, some promise last year, which got him some playing time on the field. Justin Scott is one, and Dalen Russell's another one I really want to look at as well. As far as the portal goes, Mel, do you think we really need one more body and at the interior? And what kind of guy are you looking for? Would it be a run stopper? Or would it be just more of a pass rusher type?
I think we just need another body. Honestly, I don't know if it would be a run stopper or pass, but we're so young. I mean, we're talking about like I think Blaze, a grad student now, so his 5th year. And you've got Mesidor, who's in his 6th year, Bane, who's a junior. A lot of the other guys are like redshirt freshmen, sophomores, have 2 years of experience. So I'd love to get another brain in that room too, that can fill in some holes. But yeah, some of the names you mentioned, Hayden Lowe, they've been going crazy about him in the media. Some of the players have mentioned Armando Blunt has kind of been going off, and this is a kid who should be coming in this year. He reclassified a year early, so he's already got a year under his belt, and he was only like 17 last year. So yeah, a lot of these guys are young. So I would love another guy for the rotation, because obviously everything's on paper. We're only seeing practice, and then like Moten came on a lot last year at the end of the year, so I think he's gonna be one of the main dudes this year.
Jay?
Yeah, I kind of agree, especially if Mullen can pick up where he left off at the ending of last year and show he could really go behind Justin Scott and have some of that, just so that extra development going into it. I think he could be really strong. I'm really worried about the depth. Like Melissa said, we have a lot of young guys. I do think we can use another big body in the middle of those trenches. I'm thinking maybe more of a run stopper, especially if Ruben Bain can get some of that freshman glory back, and Mesidor can really have that final good senior year. And then again, I think a lot of people forget how young Armando Blount really is. How Mel said that he reclassified. If he can come out and develop more and show that stardom that we saw, that we all know from him in recruiting, I think this could be a great line. But I'm really worried about the depth, especially we all know injuries are going to happen at one point of the year. How is the team going to handle that when some of these injuries possibly can come through?
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I do think that depth is going to be a concern, basically, because we do have a very young defensive line. We have a lot of players, though, and a lot of bodies we could rotate. So I do think that if you're not going to go to the portal, I think that's a positive. All these guys were highly recruited coming out of high school. So, I mean, there is talent on the team if you want to go on a more rotational basis. But I do think if we go portal, I do think a run stopper would be the way to go, only because last year we got gashed a couple times by teams like Georgia Tech and so on. So I think another big body that could wreak havoc and within the interior would be good for Miami. But I do like what we have on paper. Artavius Jones is a guy I really want to watch, because from what I understand, I think he has the best squat on the team. So he has a lot of power in his legs as well, which is something to look at as far as when he's engaging the interior guards of another football team. He's also a phenomenal athlete. The guy was catching passes in high school as a tight end, right, as well. So they're not only just young, but they're also very athletic, and I think that's something that we could utilize within the interior as well. But I do agree, again, with both of you. I do think we're going to go maybe get one more guy just for depth purposes in the interior. But I do think we're going to look more of maybe a run stopper, because we do have some speed, and there are young guys, all right, as well. Transitioning over to the defensive ends, we are stacked at the end. I really don't think we should even be sniffing another one in the portal. As a matter of fact, we have a linebacker that's probably going to play the end in Malik Bryan. If I throw some names out there, of course, we know Ruben Bain, who's been looking really good in practice. He's shed some weight and he's leaner. You have Mesidor on the other side. I do think Mesidor's side is going to see some heavy rotation, because you have Marquise Lightfoot, who I've heard has put on some weight, and he was very effective. Jay, we were together last year in the spring game. He was very effective as well. I like what I'm hearing about Booker Pickett Jr., Herbert Scroggins is a hungry dude. All right, he was Mr. I think he was the best defensive player in the state of Georgia. With I think it was 19 sacks his senior year. And of course, we have Hayden Lowe that looks like he's already built for the NFL, right? As well. So starting first with John, and then we'll go over with Mel. How do you see our defensive ends? What kind of packages they will run? Will it be a Bane Mesidor, pretty much primarily downs 1 through 3, or will it be more of a rotational aspect, at least on Mesidor side?
I think we're gonna see a lot of rotations, man. Like you said, we have a lot of depth in this position. I don't really see the need for them to force that workload on Mesidor, especially on that left side. They can go with that way, especially I think in crunch time, you'll definitely see a lot of packages that's gonna just focus on those two. But definitely also if Hayden Lowe comes on really good, if Marquise Lightfoot can really come on. I mean, again, you said we saw him in the spring game last year. I mean, he crushed it in spring game. I was actually surprised of the kind of like the low end he had in the freshman. But again, he was just a freshman coming in. He did have a lot of people in front of him, but I do think you'll definitely see some more rotation packages. Malik Bryant, as you said as well, is another great guy out there who could really take some time up and really just take the stress off of the line to really, keep everything fresh and going, especially if the new defensive coordinator knows how to rework these guys in some packages. I think we see some really, really good things coming off these two outside lines.
Mel, your take?
I mean, yeah, I think there'll be some rotation. I mean, obviously the top two guys are Bane and Mesidor. I mean, if they stay healthy, that's your top two. But after that, it's more younger guys. Everyone fighting for their place. It'll also be interesting to see if they rotate Mesidor or Bane inside and have a few edges line up for like a blitz package or something. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how they move the tackles and ends around. But yeah, I mean, after Bane and Mesidor, it'll be interesting to see what that two deep is and how they work that, because we've got some athletes. They're young, but we haven't seen a lot of them yet, on the field. So it definitely should be interesting. But with how many young guys we have, the next few years on the line, assuming these guys develop as we all expect them to, we're gonna be pretty beastly on the line.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think if we use Mesidor on the inside, it'll be on third and long packages. I'm sorry, Mesidor, Bane. It'll be on third and long packages because it'll be like basically having a Ferrari, for interior guards to have to take care of. But I do expect some of the young guys to get in. I think just from a physical standpoint, Hayden Lowe looks like he could play right away. So I do think that I would be surprised if Hayden Lowe is the Ruben Bane of the season, because he's got a football body already for college football, made for college football as well. I'm curious to see Booker Pickett came in the Duke game and got a sack right away. I wonder if they're going to use him when they want like a speed rush against the other team's quarterback. The one thing I have heard about is Heatherman is trying to create packages and so on for each of his guys on defense. So I think that's a positive that he, being of an educational background, he's trying to figure out what best suits his guys as far as where they would be in the best places to succeed as far as the defensive end position goes. I do expect Roommate to be back to form. He was injured very much a huge part of the year. I don't think he ever really got over his injury with only 3.5 sacks. If the defensive play calling would have been a little different at the Syracuse game, from what I saw on film, I do think Bane would have had 2 more sacks in the season. There was a couple times where he was already in McCord's face, and McCord was able to get rid of the football. And I think that was a kind of a disservice to him, because he was about to get there on a couple of occasions. But I do expect Bane to be back in form. It's a very big year for Bane, though, so I do think that he will pretty much reconnect with what he was as a freshman. What other guys on the defensive end do you expect to see? Malik Bryant has gotten some run at the end position. He showed some signs last season, but because the defense was always behind, they really didn't use him that much where they wanted to use him. What do you guys think about Malik? Starting first with Melissa, then I'll go with John.
I'm a big fan. He's really athletic, and he's played linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually very interested to see how he does and how he's handled, because he's quick. He's got a very quick step just from having played linebacker in the past. So we'll see how he probably put on some weight to play DN. So we'll see how he handles that and how offensive lines handle him. I believe he was a bit injured last year. No.
Yeah.
He got injured at some, so he didn't get as much playing time. But yeah, he was someone I liked coming out of high school. I was a big fan when he signed. So moving him to D end, I like it. I like it a lot.
John?
I agree with a lot of things Melissa said. I think it's gonna be a really big year for Malik coming into his junior year. I expect to see a lot of really good things out of him. I wouldn't be surprised you see him kind of go back into maybe an outside linebacker form, try to push him back a little bit, move him around the field a little more. Especially since there's so much depth in the area already on that D line, just to try to see where he fits in, try to scheme him on a couple different plays and packages. I think he fits really, really well in this system. I'm really excited to see what kind of happens from him. I think this could be a little bigger year for Malik coming out, especially coming off of these injuries.
Yeah, a lot of the fan base probably forgot he was highly recruited coming out of high school. I did a lot of coverage on his recruitment, and he was a four-star originally. Everyone thought he was going to go to Florida at one point, and ended up picking Miami because of Charlie Strong's strong recruitment. But he came in as a freshman at 235. He was not a small young man. He already had the prototypical SEC body that Mario likes out of his linebacker. So I do expect him to get some run this year as well, as far as maybe somewhat of a defensive end, or what John said, maybe a blitz package as an outside linebacker. We'll see what happens with that as well. Now the 2024 season, although if you asked us a year ago, we would have said 10 wins would have been great, but we expected those 10 wins as facing to come on an ACC championship game. So it was slightly a disappointment, but you can't argue there wasn't progress. What kind of killed us was the defense. I want to get your outlook on what you expect for the 2025 season on both sides of the ball. We'll start first with the offense, and we're talking defense today. We'll go to the defense. So let's start first with the offense. Carson Beck, the offensive line. What do you guys expect to see from this group? Some changes you may want to see, some things you like, some things maybe you want to see different. And then later on, after we're done with our responses, we'll go over and focus on the defense. Starting first with Melissa. Melissa, what do you expect out of the offense this year in 2025, led by Carson Beck?
I expect we're going to run the ball more. I think that was always the game plan last year, but with how Cam Ward got even better, from when he was at Washington State. So I think we're going to run the ball more. I don't think that's disrespectful to Carson Beck. I think we'll still have plenty of opportunities to throw the ball, and I think Carson Beck can do that. But I think we're definitely going to run the ball more. I think we have an amazing 1-2 punch in Fletcher and Jordan Lyle, and I think our offensive line might possibly even be better than it was last year. With the development of Markel Bell, keeping the whole right side of the line. And if Ryan Rodriguez can stay healthy, plus Matthew McCoy, I love our line. I kind of expect us. I think there's obviously been some rumors roaming around about us getting another receiver. I'd like to see that, but I think JoJo is going to have a big year. He kind of just had to wait his turn last year. But I really expect him to have a good year. I went to Orlando for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and so saw him catch some balls from Cam. He's young dude, but looks great. But yeah, I definitely expect us to run the ball more. But I don't think it'll be as exciting as a Cam Ward offense, but I still think we're going to still think we'll put up good points. My only concern with the offense is the kicking game, because we don't got Andy anymore. So I haven't heard good or bad about the kicking situation yet. So we'll see what happens with that.
That's a good point, Mel. That's a good point. Mel, I just a prediction. What are the points per game average to expect Miami to have this year?
Well, considering we're going to run the ball more, it's going to be, I think we were like close to 40 points a game last year, if not over.
I think we went over 40. I think it was like 40.
Yeah.
I think it was 40 or 41.
I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think we're going to have that kind of quick strike offense that we see with Cam. I think Carson's a little bit more surgical down the field, and we're going to run the ball a lot more. I'd say maybe around the 30 mark.
Okay. 30 or a little higher, or just plain 30? Just
around 30, yeah.
Okay.
Give or take.
Okay. All right, John, your take, and I'll ask you the same question about points per game average.
For this offense, my biggest concern with it is just the wide receiver core. I think JoJo's going to have a great year. I want to see if CJ Daniels can really take form coming off of more of that 2023 season, where he averaged over 1,000. He had over 1,000 yards receiving. He only had over 480 yards last year for LSU. I want to see if he can really capture what he did in 2023 to really be that next factor next to JoJo. I want to see how Nye Carr is going to come out this year. I mean, you also have Malachi Toney coming out as a true freshman. He'll probably get somewhere in the packages if we really need him to. You got Chance Robinson out the sophomore, see how he goes. I love Jordan Lyle. I think Jordan Lyle and Mark Fletcher are going to be a great tandem. And remember, you also have Gerard Pringle Jr. coming out. from our recruitment as well. He might get some time in depending on injuries and how that's going to go. I do agree. I think the O-line will be better this year, but it's just so hard to replace Cam Ward and things he did. I think Carson Beck has some great tangibles. I think he can do a lot of great things, but we were the number one offense. We were the number one scoring offense last year. How you can't expect that with so many of the players and with the entire wide receiving core pretty much being gone. Sam Brown Jr., Jacoby Jordan, Xavier Strebel. There's so many people that are no longer here on that wide receiver team that I'm just really concerned. How is this going to mesh this year with all these new moving parts, new quarterback? And God forbid something happens to Josh Beck, who we're going to go to as our next one. I hear a lot of people mentioning Luke Nickel going to be the backup right out the gate as a true freshman. And I do think Luke Nickel is the future of this team, but will they give it to Emory when the time comes and something happens to Carson Beck? So just a lot of moving things and concerns. I would pencil in a little lower on the points just because I want to see how this team really forms. I think I'm going to average about 28 points going into this year right now.
Wow, you lowballed them.
Because
you went James Coley on them, man.
No, I agree with John, and that's why I said I think we're gonna run the ball more. I think Carson Beck is totally capable of throwing the ball when he needs to and making those big plays. He's played at Georgia, and last year, I mean, Georgia led the NCAA in drops.
Yeah.
So Carson Beck's stats could be a lot better. We haven't seen him throw. Hopefully, he's healing well. But if Carson Beck stays healthy, I think we can be in top tier offense. I mean, you're not replacing Cam Ward like he said, but I still think we could be up there. But the points per game is going to be lower because we're going to run the ball a lot more. That was always the plan, but you can't take the ball out of Cam Ward's hands like that. So and that's why we ended up throwing more. It was very obvious early on in the season last year that Cam was going to be in charge of this offense. So Dawson's got something to prove this year.
Yeah. Well, big shout out to I Hate Football podcast host Q, who's a good friend of mine. It says they averaged about 44 points last year. Please hit the subscribe button for the I Hate Football podcast. Q is one of the brightest individuals and up-and-comers in the football podcasting world. He does a little bit of everything on his show. All right. I'm a little more bullish, and I'll explain why before we transition to the defense. I predict between 35 and 30 points per game, only because if you note, Miami was astonishing the Cam Ward show because Miami averaged almost 44 points per game, and that's without many turnovers. Will totally disagrees with you guys. In my opinion, he threw that one in there. In my opinion, in general, but one of the reasons why is because despite Cam Ward scoring 43 points, we didn't get as many turnovers or have a short field as much as we had in games past. In years past. So I do think Miami's defense will turn the ball over more this year, which will give Carson a shorter field to work with. So that's why I think that I'm a little more bullish because I do think that Miami, on more occasions this season than last year, they will be playing from the 20s for the 20s all the time. They'll be in a much shorter field, which allow more red zone situations, more opportunities for scoring. That's the only reason why I'm bullish on 35, 38. That's just my perspective. We're not going to talk about the defensive backs until probably Wednesday or Thursday, but I'm bullish on Charles Brantley. I'm bullish on Zachariah Poyser. I'm bullish on Saquon Patterson. I'm bullish on Ethan O'Connor. I'm bullish on all those guys making impact. Xavier Lucas making impact in the secondary early in the season and throughout the season. So that's why I feel that we'll have a much better opportunity. For me, again, Carson Beck. I do agree with you guys. I think it'll be a lot more balanced this season. Last season, it was 55-45, 55 passing, 45 running. I think this year it'll be closer to 50-50. Okay, probably about a 52-48 between pass and run. I do like our offensive line. I think our offensive line is going to be an absolute beast with Markel Bell having more experience. I do like CeCe Inez as well, experience coming in as well. I love our center as well. Ryan Rodriguez, Matthew McCoy, or Samson Okunola, whoever takes those final spots. I'm very happy with what we have on offense. Fletcher and Lyle are going to be a beast. The third man is going to be interesting, whether it's Pringle or Wheatley Humphrey. I think we will get another running back in the portal just to add depth as well. I like our tight end position. I think with Lofton, we're going to be pretty good at tight end as well. Brock Schott, don't be surprised if he gets some run as a pass-catching tight end as a freshman. We hear good things for him in practice. Our wide receiving core is extremely young, so I do hope we get a boundary guy in the portal. All right, but I do expect JoJo to ball this year. He balled out in the bowl game. I expect him to ball out this year as well. I'm not even with the inexperience, I would love Miami to give a shot to Joshua Moore. He's made some beast catches in practice. He reminds me of a mini Megatron only because he's a true freshman. He's got size. He's got power. All right, as well. He's pretty quick as well. Extremely athletic. And last year, Alabama and Texas had two true freshman wide receivers that really made an impact. And let's not forget Jeremiah Smith either. Okay, so it's not impossible for freshman wide receivers to come out and make an impact on day one. So I really hope that we do give Joshua Moore a run if we can get another boundary receiver. Okay, now moving on to the defensive side of the ball in 2025. You can only go up but up. Okay, I mean last year was bad. I heard Mark D'Onofrio years. I'm like, I would have rather had Mark D'Onofrio calling plays than what we saw with Guidry last year. You know, in general. At least, John, what's your take on the defense this year? What are you excited about? What changes you hope we make, and what is your projection for maybe points per game next year?
As long as we make adjustments, we're winning at some point. I mean, that was I think the biggest thing anyone talks about last year's defense was there was never an adjustment made. Everyone figured out what our defense was doing very early, and Lance Guidry just kept running the same thing, even though the offense has figured it out. It was time and time after again. That was the biggest issue we had. I do think the secondary will be better this year. I'm really excited to see what OJ Frederick's going to do this year, taking that number one spot at corner. I really want to see what Xavier Lucas is going to do on the other side. I think we really did a good revamp of secondary. I do think we're lacking depth. So hopefully we can stay healthy on that secondary side. And as we're talking about D-line all day today, if that secondary can be any form of improvement and hold those receivers, keep the coverage a little more, you're going to see the benefits or rewards to those Ruben Baines. How you said in the Syracuse game, he was always just one step away before the quarterback just got that ball out. If those secondary can hold their man just that split second longer, we're going to see the benefit on the D-line side. It's going to create that pressure, and it's going to be a great thing to have. Points-wise, this secondary is very new. We don't know much about them. They're all coming together. It's the first year together. 17 average right now, I'll call it. I think it could be a little higher, a little lower, depending what's going on. But I think 17 is a safe number right now. I think we could have one of the top tier defenses in the country, all depending on how this team meshes and the schemes and packages we're going to put together. And can this secondary really hold some good receivers out there in the ACC?
Yeah, what's up? And from the AO and from the Miami Mayhem Show, part of the Miami Flow Network. What's up, bro? Thank you so much for joining us in the comments section. Hoodie Girl, what you got on defense?
AO's my guy. What's up, AO? So I just quickly Googled how many points we gave up average last season, and it's so skewed because like we had some games that go into the average where it because it says we only gave up 25.3 points per game, but we have multiple games where we gave up like close to 40 or 40 plus. I was at the Cal game, so sitting on that 40-yard line. So yeah, I think the defense, I mean, needs to be a lot better. I think it will be. I think Mario has proven that when he sees a weakness in the program, he addresses it, and we went hard on getting secondary players. Xavier Lucas, from what I'm hearing, is balling out and practice. What I was going to say, what a great get from the portal, but he never actually entered the portal. So what a great get to find him on campus. I really love the Zechariah Poyser edition. That kid wanted to be a Cane when he was little, and when he committed, he posted a picture of himself in like a Canes t-shirt when he's like 8. I got a chance to meet him at the team store when they were him and Brantley and Carnley were there signing autographs, and I got a chance to talk to him. Super down to earth kid too. So happy to be here. He's a baller. Love Brantley. And besides Brantley, a lot of these guys have multiple years of eligibility left. So if we can keep these guys together, the next couple of years, I think is going to be a lot of fun in the secondary. And don't forget, you got OJ, who I think got abused by Syracuse because nobody wanted to give him safety help. I'm like, you're leaving this true freshman on an island by himself in one of like the number one passing offenses. Like, they set him up for failure in that game last year. It was very frustrating. I think he's great. He's only going to be a sophomore. You got Damari Brown coming back healthy, the additions of Ethan O'Connor, everybody else. So, I mean, I'm really excited about our secondary. I think that's going to be the most improved position group on our team. Honestly, my biggest concern was D-line and the young guys that we're gonna have. But yeah, overall, Guidry's not calling the plays anymore. We're not going to see Daryl Porter Jr. running around. That they ran him crazy playing man and him having to follow the motion everywhere. Hopefully, they look more organized and they know how to like point and switch and not have to run 25 million yards before the ball's even hiked.
Yeah, I agree. Mel, I totally agree with you. Yeah, Ayo and Will are having a fun little time in the chat there. It's nice to see that. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I want to remind everybody that everybody's like, well, Syracuse. I'm like, yes, that wide receiver from Syracuse was a 4-star recruit that went to Alabama. So it wasn't like he was just going up against anybody. The guy was a stud coming out of high school. And you're right, Guidry offered no help. If they would have just, I was talking to Chalupa Batman with this. We were texting each other, and if they would have just bumped the receiver just once, just to jam him just once. Even if the receiver gets by him, Cal McCord has another half second to think before he releases that football, and that gives Barron and Bain time to get to him. And Cal McCord was a statue. Great, great passer, very accurate, great deep ball, but he's a statue, okay? Yeah, he's not going to run away from you, and we saw it early on in the game. When Miami was up 21-0, and they just didn't give him any help. No safety help,
What is safety over the top? Like it just
yeah.
when you know your secondary is getting beat, I just don't understand why you keep blitzing the safety. Leave it to your defensive line, put a safety over the top. If just get coverage sacks. I mean, it was the end of the year. Bain was healthy. You had some bodies. Mm-hmm. It was the most frustrating thing that we were up 21-0, and then we couldn't do a thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Charlotte booked since the end of the Cal game, and I was very annoyed.
Yeah, safety help was needed, but aside also from the safety help, I think jamming the receivers at the line, even if they get a step on their receivers, just the jam alone, and Farik is not a soft guy. All right, he's pretty strong and he's pretty powerful and he's a good tackler. He's a stocky young man, even as a freshman. I do think that just that split second that Cal McCord has to hold on to the football would have made a difference, because that would have given Bain and Barron and Moten, whomever was coming barreling through the Syracuse offensive line, to get to him, because McCord was not going to run away from you. But they didn't do that. They didn't provide any safety help, and they gave the defensive back, the wide receivers, cushion. And if you notice, a lot of these catches, they fronted our receivers. The receivers never had any inside leverage against the wide receivers. I'm sorry, our cornerbacks never had any inside leverage against their wide receivers. And that hurt in the red zone, and that also hurt with the deep ball as well. So I do think that's the main reason why all that occurred. Just on my take in general, I won't take too long in referencing it. I do expect our D-line to be much better. I expect more sacks this year, as I mentioned previously. I do expect our D-line will get home more often. We'll blitz well, and we'll get home as well with our linebackers. I think we have the linebackers to blitz if needed. And now we have the defensive backs that can hold wide receivers. Every single one of the defensive backfield, the one thing they have in common is experience. All right, Xavier Lucas has played. Has got 1 year under his belt, and he balled out at Wisconsin. Brantley is a very athletic defensive back as well. Zachariah Poyser is a very athletic defensive back. Patterson showed some signs. He graded, in many cases, he graded top the defensive back on any given game. Even against Duke, he was a top-rated DB on the field at the time as well. I like Frederic. Damari Brown, it's interesting if they're going to use him as a nickel, or they may try him out as safety. I've heard he's gotten some run at practice as a safety, so we'll see how they use him. I think his best bet will probably be nickel, because I think it's going to be Frederic and Lucas on both boundaries as well. Okay.
I've heard Damari's gotten bigger.
He has, actually. I've heard that too. Yeah. And he was already big.
Yeah.
He's already big. He was already big. That's why I think they'll be surprised if they put him at safety, because that wouldn't be a bad bet. He's a good open field tackler as well.
Another James Williams type situation.
Yeah. So I do think that's the case. I do think that will definitely happen with both with him as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. I know they're cross training the defensive backs. I've heard that in practice. Both Etheridge and I forgot his name. Will Harris. Thank you. Will Harris and him. The microphone probably went crazy. I was banging my water bottle on the table. Will Harris has been working with both the DBs, both the safeties, and also the cornerback. So it's interesting what they're going to do this season as well. My projection will be for points, I think low 20s. I think about 20 to 21 points a game. Miami's gonna give up. Manny Diaz's first year, they went from 28 to 18. If you really get technical, Miami gave up 34 points per season. because the points that they gave up against teams that are relevant was in the 30s. So if you get technicals about actually 34 points per game, I do think it will drop to probably about 20-ish as well.
Hot take. I think we're going to be a pretty high-rated scoring defense as well.
I think so too. I agree with you. I agree. That's why I said that. That's why I'm bullish on the points per game per average on the offense, because I do think we will see more turnovers, which will lead to more red zone situations than we did last season, where Cam Ward put up 44 points, basically going from the 20 to the 20. Starting from the 20 to the 20 as well.
So I do factor in the defense when I was doing the points per game.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, and it's understandable because I do think we're gonna run the clock and run the ball, and that kills clock. But I just think that we'll be in more situations where we'll be closer to score. So they're at the 10, we get a pick, we're at the 2, boom, Mark Fletcher touchdown. That's how I think it's gonna be more of this season, more so than all right, Cam's got the ball at 25, march him down the field, or quick strike, So I do think that's why I'm bullish on 35 to 30. I don't think it's gonna be 44, but I do think 35 to 30 is more reasonable. Guys, this is great. Go ahead.
Especially with the non-conference being harder, we don't have easier games to pad the stats.
Agreed.
Yeah, we're opening with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame week 1, Florida week 3. But
yeah,
it's a hell of a way to start the season.
I know. All right, so since you brought it up, Mel, since you brought it up, what do you think about Notre Dame at night? Like, what's your prediction for that game?
I'm so excited. I like that we're getting them week 1.
Okay.
I think it gives us a little bit of advantage. I honestly think this might be a defensive battle because Notre Dame has a really, really good defense, but I don't even who's their quarterback going to be? Is Florida week 4? I thought it was week 3.
Yeah, I think it is week 4. I think it's Notre Dame, Ball State, FAMU, like one of those like a smaller school, and then I think we play Florida. I'm not looking at the schedule right now, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a defensive battle. Who's Notre Dame's quarterback going to be this season? I don't even know. Riley Leonard's out of eligibility. I think we might have the advantage on offense, but their defense is really, really good. Yeah. I'm hoping for that 2017 vibe atmosphere because that's the loudest I've heard Hard Rock Stadium. That 2017 game was insane. One of the most fun games I've ever been to, minus my first game as a freshman at Miami when we beat FSU in overtime at the Orange Bowl. So I'm hoping for that kind of vibe. From what I'm hearing is the tickets are almost sold out, but I think that's gonna be a really good game, and I think it gives us the advantage that we're playing week 1 because it doesn't give Notre Dame time to establish their offense because they're also gonna have a new quarterback as well.
Don't forget new defensive coordinator Al Golden went to the NFL.
That's what I was exactly gonna say. Remember they have a great defense out there, but with a whole new defensive coordinator and all, and they lost a good amount of players too. It's really gonna be interesting to see what this Notre Dame team's gonna come into Miami at that nighttime. And I think the crowd's gonna be insane when that game comes. As you said, the 2017 year when that game happened and everything that's everything that Hurricane fans remember was that moment. I think it's just gonna be a really, really good atmosphere for that game. I'm really excited to see what happens between these two teams at that point.
Yeah.
If we win that game, that's such massive momentum for this. I'm going to start telling lies if we win that game. Just saying.
And I got the schedule up here. So yeah, the Gators are on week 4 on September 20th. You got Notre Dame week 1. Then you got Boston College, USF, the Gators, Seminoles, and then Louisville to cap off the first half of the year.
I feel it was USF. We played Boston College that early. I thought it was more towards the end of the season.
No, not Boston College.
It's
FAMU and USF.
Yeah. There we go. So it was FAMU. Okay, I was like Boston College. I thought we played them more towards the end of the season. Okay, so it is FAMU. It is FAMU and USF.
Thank you for the correction, Jacoby. Sorry, I thought for some reason I thought it was week 3.
Yeah. Shout out to Jacoby, man. Jacoby's a very loyal listener. I'm very happy. Him and Chris Gons and everybody else. I'm very happy to thank you very much for your support. All right, Mel. All right, first of all, thank you to both of you for joining us. Before we plug Mel stuff, all right, in general, John. All right, first time rookie. How'd you feel?
This is very fluid, man. I mean, no real butterflies for any of this type of stuff. Me and you talk about this every time we get together, man, at the barbecues or whatever. This is just chopping it up at the house, man.
Yeah, pretty much. So guess what? You're coming on more often. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yes, good.
Invite whenever you guys want to.
Thank you. That's why I asked you. I'm like, that's why I asked you. I'm like, because I think he passed, you know, the I'm having fun doing this thing. So when I feel like you're having fun, I'm like, oh, you're coming on again.
Anytime you guys want me, I'm glad to come on.
Thanks, appreciate it, John. Mel, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a minute since you've been on the show. Gotta have you on more often.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us. You're very busy, so plug away at what you're doing currently and where they can find you.
It seems like I'm very busy because I work nights, so I have a limited amount of nighttime possibilities to do shows. But yeah, if anyone wants to follow the Hoops programs, I'm on a pod called Buckets. We're part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We don't really have a set night or time because, again, I work nights. Moving into off-season content now, considering the men's team has to rebuild the whole team, we got a lot of transfer portal wants, hopes, breakdowns, talk about the women's team. So if you want to talk hoops, join us on Buckets. And then if you want hoodies, check out aboutthefans.com. I have a hoodie line. There's 4 hoodies. This is my logo hoodie. I'm wearing it right now. Will said he likes my logo. And you can use the code HG10, HG10. You can get 10% off. And me and AB are looking into doing a 5th hoodie. So look out for that real soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa, for joining us. And I hope to see you at the spring game. All right, as well. All right. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Last year at Cobb Stadium, it was a great atmosphere. You know, me and John got to meet the coaches and everything. So it was a good time. So yeah. So I want to fill you guys in on what's going to be going on this week. So today it was an appetizer, but I will say this is an appetizer that felt like a main course because when you got John, you know, who is a very gifted rookie, coming on, spin that knowledge, and then you got a heavy hitter like Melissa, aka Hoodie Girl, aka half of the Avengers of the Locked On Canes network.
A third of the Avengers.
A third of the Avengers. Sorry, a third of the Avengers. A third of the Avengers. All right, sorry about that. A third of the Avengers. Okay. You gotta admit, that's a pretty good show. But I am not done. All right, I am going on all the way till Thursday. On Tuesday, tomorrow night, on the show, discussing linebacker is going to be Tyreek Gracia of the TY24 Sports Network. Okay, Tyreek played ball over at Ole Miss. Okay, back in 2015. So we have a D1 player who's coming on the show. He's a major Canes fan too, even though he played for Ole Miss. So he'll be breaking down the linebackers. But he's not alone. He's coming with Chalupa Batman as well, right? Chalupa Batman will be joining the show as well. We'll be spinning up talking about the linebackers, but I'm also not done because it's not just Tyreek and Chalupa, but it's also Listener Day as well. So you, the audience tomorrow, will be able to jump in the show and give your take on the Miami Hurricanes. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to talk about, the only rule I have is keep it clean. All right, that's the only rule I have, just keep it clean. But wait a minute. As Mel said, okay, this Wednesday, all right, it is going to be Flo coming on the show as well. Okay, we'll be discussing another position group. Okay, I just forgot which one I was talking about. Another position group alongside with Lex as well of the Miami Mayhem show. And of course, who's been participating quite a bit today on today's show, William Q, or from the I Hate Football podcast. Okay, I'll be having them on as well. And to finalize the week on Thursday of this special, it is going to be the FTSN's Canes Wear. Yes, Wednesday. Yes, thank you, William, for adding on. On Thursday, it is going to be the Canes Wear podcast, all right, from the FTSN network. We'll be joining the show. You get Brett. You get Miami Mondo. You're going to get Uncle Cliff, Gio Milian as well, and recently added You Heard's very own Benny Boondocks will be on the show as well. All right. He's everybody's boy. All right. Benny is a man of the people. He's a man of the people. All right. So I am going to be very tired at the end of the week going live. But you know what? I love this. I love giving you guys all the Canes content possible. And I just want to let you know, in 2 weeks, Monday through Wednesday, I'll be doing a Dolphins week as well. All right, we'll be doing the podcast. Yeah, Mel's a Cowboys fan. Okay, Mel, by the way, you're welcome to come on and discuss the Cowboys. I don't hate you. The Cowboys at one point had Michael Irvin. Okay, so
you should
and Russell Maryland. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. And Darren Smith. okay, and Darren Smith. So just to let you know, okay, let me get Chris Gons in there as well. So if you want to do a Cowboys chat as well, your perspective on the Cowboys draft, you're free to come on the show as well, all right, during that week as well, Mel, if you would like to. Because Will, who will be talking Dolphins, he's a 49ers fan, and he's a throw in the 49ers. So you can have a 49ers versus Cowboys chat if you like.
Old school rivalry.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, don't forget to subscribe to all of the channels that Melissa is on, all right? The 5 Reasons podcast as well. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Will has a message for Mel.
Is he a Cowboys? Oh, he's a 49ers fan.
He's a Niners fan, actually. He's a big Niners fan for many years. Big Niners fan. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show, subscribe to Mel, all right, and all the stuff she brings to the table. Follow her on X. She's fantastic, all right, as well. Follow her on X. She's fantastic as well, okay? And ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please, it's free, guys. Do not forget to like this channel, 305 Sports Now. Subscribe to it. Share it. Tell all your friends about it as well, as I am having a great time bringing you as much content as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you guys. Go Canes. I will see you tomorrow once again at 9. And go Cam Ward. Bye-bye. No good. Shady McCoy. Bye-bye, guys.